Have you ever considered that you are the weakest link in your business? And because of that, your team can't count on you when it matters most. Well, let's talk about how to stop letting everyone down and how to start being a boss. Hey there, my name is Isai Rodriguez and I'm your friend. And this is where we build your leadership skills and your home business profits one actionable tip at a time. So hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and let's get started. So, today's episode is all about how to stop letting everyone down and start being a boss. We're talking about bossing out. We're talking about, grabbing your business by the horns, you know what I'm saying? And, we're not talking about the kind of boss that stands around pointing fingers and barking orders, right? That's not what we're talking about here. If you've ever felt like a flake or that your team can't count on you, then this episode is for you. So if you can't tell, I'm feeling a little spicy today. I usually try to come from a stance of, brotherly love, right? But sometimes we need a little bit of fire. We need a little heat, a little spice, you know what I mean? And that's me today. So allow me to get real with you here. All right. Let's start off with a question. I have a question for you guys. Is are your teammates able to depend on you? Like, can they trust your motives? Like, that's what we're talking about. Do you make good decisions that others can rely on, right? And do you perform consistently even when you don't feel like it? I know that's a hard one. That's always been a hard one for me, right? Like, are you a go-to player, if you will, or do your teammates work around you when crunch time comes? Because let me tell you something. If you're squirming in your seat right now, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're adjusting yourself because this is kind of direct, then first of all, this is not a good sign, right? But don't worry, we're gonna fix that. That's what we're here for today. We're going to talk about how to stop letting everyone down and how to start being a boss. We're going to boss up. All right. So step one is to check your motives, right? Listen, if you've ever or never, I should say, if you've never committed your goals to paper ever before, I want you to stop right now and do that right now. All right. I want you to write them down. Then look at those goals. Take a good look at them. How many of them benefit the teams that you're a part of, right? Your family, your organization, the organization you work for, your fellow volunteers, the other players on your ball team, whoever, right? Then ask yourself, how many benefit only you personally? These are some pretty insightful and sometimes tough questions to ask and answer, right? Because here's the thing. To be dependable, your goals need to align with your team's goals, right? So you need to spend some time working on this. Make sure that you're not just in it for yourself, right? Does that make sense? The next thing is that you need to discover what your word is worth. Now, here's what I mean by that. You need to understand what other people rate you as. Like, do they believe what you say? Or do they not believe what you say, right? So approach 5 teammates. This is what you do. You want to approach 5 of your teammates, 5 of your, whoever, people you work with, the people that you're closest with, right? And just ask them. Be like, hey, when I say that I intend to do something, how reliable am I? I want you to rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you rate me? What number would you place on my word, if you will, right? That's it. Just get a good understanding of how people see and rate you, right? This might be hard for a lot. I know I tried it once and it wasn't difficult to ask. It was difficult to handle and process the input that I was given, right? So I know this is a hard it's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. I know it is for me, to answer. And so make sure that that you include several people that know you well enough to actually answer this honestly, right? Don't ask people that would give you the answer that they feel that you want to hear, right? You want to reach out to people that are going to give you the truth without a doubt. Like, they're not going to sugarcoat things. You know what I mean? And like, if the answers that you get, if they don't match your expectations, don't freak out, right? Ask for examples in a casual, chill kind of way, right? Find out so you rated me, whatever, 5, 6, 7. Why is that? What do you feel or why do you feel that I rate that number, and how could I get better from it? Because you want to gauge what it is, or where they place you, how they rate you, and you want to know. You need to kind of have like an understanding of how they got to that number. Does that make sense? Also, what you can do is this: if the average answer is lower than 9 or 10, which for most of us generally is at first, then start writing down your commitments as you make them. Right? You ultimately want to track your follow through for a month or longer, right? But you need to track, right? Because that's like, if you're not tracking these numbers and you're never going to improve, right? You need some sort of measurement so that okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm trying to get. Does that make sense? The third thing is to find someone to hold you accountable. Right, this is pretty big. This is probably one of the most important. Right, is because a lot of us are more likely to follow through and develop dependability if we have a partner to help us. Right, if we have someone that's watching our every move. Right, so find someone that you respect to help you keep your commitments, to help keep you accountable, right? This could be, a buddy, it could be a mentor, or even, a family member. It doesn't matter. Just make sure it's someone who will call you out if you start slipping, right? Again, you're looking for that person that it's not necessarily gonna be on your side and allow you to slip. You want someone who is very comfortable with you to call you out on what it is that you're doing, right? So there has to be like a good level of comfort with you and your accountability partner, right? That's like the name of the game, because otherwise they're not going to keep you accountable, right? And what good is an accountability partner if they're not going to keep you accountable, right? So now let's bring this home for us home business entrepreneurs, home business hustlers, direct sellers, network marketers, whatever you call drop shippers. Your business is all about relationships and trust. Am I right? 100%. All right. If your team can't rely on you, then they're not going to follow you, right? Plain and simple. I mean, imagine telling a prospect that you'll call them back and then you don't, right? Think about that. Or you promising your team that you'll be there for a training session and then you flake out, right? That right there, not keeping your word, is the quickest way for you to lose credibility and trust with your team, with your customers, right? Again, people will follow you when they trust you, when they feel that that you are credible and that your word is what it says that your word is, right? They believe it 100%. You have to keep your word, or at minimum, you have to communicate to them when you can't fulfill on your word and why, right? And it can't be something like, every time you give your word, you follow that up a couple of days later with an excuse or, why it is that you can't fulfill your promise, right? You have to be honest and think I think that goes without saying, right? If you lie, eventually it'll come to the surface and you'll be made out as a fraud, as a liar, untrustworthy, right? You can't be dealt with, can't do business with. Does that make sense? Like, they won't trust you, and without trust, again, your business is essentially dead in the water, right? So that's it. Let's recap real quick to stop letting everyone down and start being a boss. You need to first check your motives, align your goals with your team's goals, right? Second, you need to discover what it is that your word is worth. There's a little discovery there, right? And again, get honest feedback and track your commitments. And third, you need to find someone to hold you accountable. Partner up with someone who will keep you in check, right? Because remember, being dependable isn't just about you. It's about your team and your business, right? And if you want to lead your team and your business, if you want to be that leader that they depend on, like, you've got to be someone that's others can count on. You have to be dependable, right? If you want to be that person that leads a team, like, you yourself have to be dependable. Your word needs to be solid, right? You can't be going back on your word, right? That's the number one way that you can lose all credibility in the blink of an eye, just like that, right? So there you have it, my friends. That's my tip for today. Keep hustling and stay reliable, right? If you found this episode helpful, if you found it inspiring, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. And if you have any questions or topics that you'd like to cover, that you like to, discuss, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to follow the link in the description for access to my free masterclass training, where I'll show you firsthand how to put all these tips into action for yourself today. Till the next time, I want you to stay legendary, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care now. Bye.